All right, everyone. Welcome to the 21 Minutes or Less podcast. This is actually a follow up episode, part two to our first Cognitive Distortions episode. So, it's 10 of them all together. We talked about a couple of them on the first episode, and now we're finna finish talking about the rest of them. So the first one that we're talking about today is all or nothing thinking. And if you don't know what cognitive distortions are, make sure you go watch the last episode, listen to the last episode, so you can hear just a general version of what are they. But for all or nothing thinking, it's basically where, you feel like it has to be all of something or nothing. So, for example, a diet, if you feel like, okay, I'm supposed to be a vegetarian, and then you eat a piece of chicken or shrimp or steak, or it could be a small itty bitty piece of meat, anything. You start feeling like, oh my goodness, I threw my diet out the window. You start feeling really, really bad. Your self esteem is falling, all because you had one piece of meat. So I think this cognitive distortion for me is all about just having grace on yourself and basically just knowing that it's okay not to always 100% of the time do something, because there's nothing we're ever going to do all the time. Like, we're humans, we're imperfect, sometimes we mess up, but I think, this distortion causes people to feel like their lives are out of whack for things that are minimal. And what do you think, Nakia?
I can definitely relate to that because I definitely try not to eat meat, but I get a craving every now and again, especially a piece of chicken. Listen, and then I'll eat it, and then I just start feeling guilty. Like, man, I should never ate that piece of chicken. But then I have to think about everything is good in moderation. As long
Mm-hmm.
as I'm not like over consuming meat and I eat it every now and again, it's okay. Um, I try to eat healthy for health reasons. Not so much of a diet, but for health reasons. But I'm getting better with having grace with myself when it comes to that. It's okay to eat a piece of meat every now and again, but
It
I
is.
I definitely try to stay away from it though.
Yeah, and I do this a lot with school as well. Like, I'll be like, at the beginning of the semester, I'm going in, I'm getting all A's this semester, I'm turning in all my assignments on time. And then, it might just be one assignment I don't turn in. Now I feel like, oh my goodness, I'm trying to play catch up, I'm trying to do this, I'm trying to do that. But really, it's just one assignment. Like, it's just one. It's not all of them being not done. It's just sometimes you got to work harder, make sure you remember things, or if okay, I'm trying to do all of this, or all of not eating meat, or all of turning in my assignments, like, make sure you're following it through with your actions, because at the end of the day, it's not good to be hard on yourself, but you made the decision to pick up that meat. You made the decision not to turn in that assignment. So, if you have this issue, just make sure you try to schedule things. So, if you got something you want to always do it, you're going to make sure you do it. If you got something you never want to do that, you never want to do it.
Yes, I agree.
Next cognitive distortion is magnification. So, pretty much just making a big deal out of things that are not a big deal. Um, I do this all the time. I'm such an exaggerator because I know that things they could get bigger, like
Mhm.
they could be, you miss one appointment. I know you might not be a good, someone who keeps your appointments or keeps your word. So I tend to exaggerate things and be like blowing them up. But again, it just comes back to like anxiety. Like, I'm having anxiety about, oh, you was 5 minutes late. Now I'm thinking you never show up for nothing, like making it a
Mhm.
big deal, because it's my anxiety. I'm worried that it could lead to other things, and I think sometimes our imagination gets the best of us with anxiety, to where we start to distort reality. And that's why it's important to figure out how to combat these. um and I know specifically for magnification, in order to combat that, you got to just kind of take everything in small chunks. Like,
Mhm.
everything is not related to something else. Really, it's not. You have to make sure you're taking, your schoolwork as school, your life work as life, your relationships as relationships. You can't be like, oh my gosh, this relationship not going good. Now you magnifying it, making it about all your relationships. It might just be with
Mm-hmm.
that one person. So it's important to compartmentalize things.
Yes, I totally agree. When it comes to magnification, especially like in entrepreneurship or with work in general, we tend to like focus on the things that we lack as far as like skills. And we want to buy this course, we want to buy that course to try to learn this skill. But no, you should actually do the opposite. Experts will tell you that you should focus on the things that you are good at or that you excel in, and you magnify that versus what you lack in. And then whatever you're lacking, you just outsource that to somebody else that does well in that area. So yeah.
And sometimes when you magnify issues, like that causes things to just get worse. Like if
Mhm.
you got an issue, like not to say just minimize all your issues, but if you keep the issue minimal, it's not going to spill over into other areas of your life. It's not going to, control your thoughts, control your relationships, your feelings, and start to lead you to maybe some negative emotions. When you can actually minimize things and reframe them into positive, that's when you know, okay, even though um it's a problem, it's not going to make or break my day,
Mhm.
period. And I think, once your day get broken, it's hard to put it back together. So then now everything else, you looking at it as you validating it in your head as part of, oh, this is why I magnified it because I knew this and this could happen. But no, you magnified it and that's why that happened.
And you made it worse.
You made it worse because you constantly
Yeah,
thinking about it.
absolutely. So our next one is should statements. So when I think about should statements, I'm thinking about like expectations that you put on yourself or others, and then those expectations are not met. So that's what I think about. For example, when I'm in my late 20s, most women around this age, I just made a generalization.
You did.
And I shouldn't. But I was just gonna use this as an example. Some women around my age think that they should have their life together, as far as like they should be married, they should have kids, they should be excelling in their career, they should be doing this, they should be doing that. They have all these expectations that they put on themselves, and then when they fall short, it's kind of like they start thinking about all these negative things about themselves, like, oh, they're a failure. Nobody wants me because they're not married. When it's like, no, that's not true. Though those are false statements and false expectations you're putting on yourself. So what do you think about that?
Well, I think like one of the most powerful statements one of my classmates told to me before, he was like, don't should on yourself. Like,
Mm.
don't do it. And it's just like, when you should, and I say on yourself, or he said that because, like, when you should, it's like that's your expectation.
Right.
That's You're doing it to yourself. You're either raising the expectations from someone else's, reality, or lowering it, which is also just as bad. But when you have shoulds, it's like it's just weird because it's no one way to live life or to do business or to be in a relationship, or it's no one way to do anything. So when you say should, it's like 99% of the time it's being based in societal views and
Yes.
norms, and that's how we mess up because nobody life is the same. Like how Nakia was saying, you could easily be like, oh, well, I'm 24. I should have my master's, and I should have a house by now, and I should have
Mhm.
a husband and 2 kids. But it's like, according to who? According
Exactly.
to nobody is what? Like, it's so many successful people that don't have kids or don't have a husband or don't have a home. And also, you got to look at the if we gonna go by society, we gotta look at how society is running right now. Is it, even if you say, okay, you should have a stable job, that's something common that most people do. You're an adult, most likely you got a stable job. But look at the climate right now. It's COVID. It's, a lot of people losing their jobs. So it's like, is it even still fair to say if you are adult, you should have a job in this current climate? No. It's so many different pathways to how we can live our life that we can all live it individually. And that's what's so great about being a human. Like,
Yes.
you get to pick your own way. Most of these animals, they out here living just like all the other animals in the other states, doing the same stuff, looking for food, chilling, looking for water, shelter. Like, that's their lives. They should, yeah, you should be, if you're a duck, you should be swimming and taking care of your ducklings. But if you're a human, it's no way to say we should or shouldn't be doing, because everybody can do them.
Yes. We were beautifully and uniquely made.
Hallelujah.
So that means your life doesn't have to reflect somebody else's life. And success should be measured not by what society says, but by your own standards.
For sure.
And then you also have to be smart in the goals that you make.
Yeah.
And make sure that they are based on reality and not just, you don't want to not say not aim high, but you want to make sure that it can be realized and not something that's beyond the scope of whatever it is you're trying to do, because what happens is it's like a domino effect. Like if you aim too high and you miss the mark, now you just feel bad, and then now you don't want to make a goal at all. So you want to, make sure you have small goals, big goals, medium goals, and go from there.
Yeah. Period. And I just to quickly, I know for example for the should, like, it's really hard to do that with Forex, because you see people trading with these fat ass accounts, they got millions, or you see them with these big ass teams, they getting like hella residual income, and you be like, dang, like, I should have a certain amount of people in my business or a certain amount of money in my trading account. But it's like, that's why I really like trading, because everybody got their own journey of how they gonna get, rich or wealthy off of it. It's like, it's individualized. And once you start comparing yourself to other people and what you should be doing, that's when you lose.
Yes, absolutely.
Labeling. So, it's the extreme form of all or nothing thinking, which we just talked about. And so it's basically just kind of like name calling. Like, instead of saying, oh, I didn't stick to my diet, now, oh, I'm a fat ass.
Right.
Or, oh, I didn't do well on this test, now I'm a loser, now I'm a failure. It's basically just being really harsh with how you group yourself based on one action. Like, just because, you get into a car crash on Monday don't mean, oh my goodness, I'm a wreck, I'm irresponsible. It don't mean none of that. So it's just basically when you gotta group yourself into a label based on a current situation, even though that's not your situation all the time.
What it sounds like to me is like you basically bullying
Yeah.
yourself.
Yeah.
Like, why would you bully yourself? And I think a way to combat labeling is giving yourself positive affirmations. Like, write yourself something positive on a sticky note. Go to the mirror, do some mirror work, and say some good things to yourself, like, I'm beautiful, or today's going to be a good day, and have that reflect back to you. So don't bully yourself. We already get enough of that from other people, so be kind to yourself and try to find ways to, give yourself positive affirmations.
The most important words are the ones we tell ourselves, because at the end of the day, you the only one who always with you. Nobody else, your kids, your husband, your job, your friends, nobody else is always with you. So you might mess up, somewhat in your motherhood, like, oh my goodness, I suck as a mom. But you doing great as the wife. So it's like, why would you just throw that one label on yourself when you so multifaceted, that it's so many, dynamic parts to you? It's like, just because that part might not be the strongest today doesn't mean that it's weak.
Right. And then I also believe in like the self-fulfilling prophecy. Like if
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna do that to yourself, make it positive.
Yeah.
Like manifest and fulfill a positive life, a wonderful life, and not just focus on the negative.
Yes. The last cognitive distortion is personalization and blame. This is one of the hardest ones for me. Again, if you listen to the first episode, I was telling y'all about this book I was reading, and two of the things they put in the four agreements. It's called the four agreements, but two of the things in there is don't take things personal, and I forgot the other one, but it was don't take things personal.
And don't make assumptions.
Don't make assumptions.
Yeah,
Look at you taking out. Yes, but with personal, I take things so personal, and I think I told y'all about Twitter specifically. Like, if you in my mentions, you might not even be necessarily replying to me. You just talking to yourself like people do on Twitter. But if you mention me, I'm gonna be like, like, don't put this, like, don't say this. It don't matter if you talk to me or not. You mention my tweet. So I'm learning that I don't gotta take everything personal. I don't gotta reply to everything. With myself too. Like, when my friends do stuff that's not really positive or beneficial, or my friends be fucking up. We all fuck up. But when my friends fuck up, I take it personal. Like, I used to take it so personal and be like, dang, why you didn't come to me with this, or like, why you didn't trust me enough to help you. But it's like, it's not about me, it's about them. If they want to
Yes.
help, if they wanted to succeed in it or felt like I could help them, they would have came. So it's like, it don't got nothing to do with me, it's them. They don't want help. They being prideful. They being, secretive, whatever, closed off. They dealing with it on their own. It don't matter. Don't none of that have nothing to do with me. So that was like the biggest area I had to learn it with. Just friends. Like, just because somebody don't ask you for help and they want to be homeless and have they struggle, and yeah, if they want to do that, that's up to them. Like, it's nothing I can do to force someone to include me on their struggles.
Yes. And to take it to a professional standpoint, even with working or dealing with customers or anything like that, we have to understand that, people have their own lives, they have their own situations going on. Not, saying that being rude is acceptable, but sometimes when people are rude or they having a bad day, they can take it out on other people, and that may just be you. And then you dealing with people in any business, you have to be able to separate yourself. You definitely can't take things personal, because at that point you're gonna start making emotional decisions, and we talked about that last time, that you cannot make emotional decisions when it comes to certain things, especially in the entrepreneurship world. So yeah.
Definitely can't make, yeah, you can't make assumptions, because sometimes too, to even take something personal, you had to make an assumption to do that. Like, you assumed that it was about you. That's the assumption. Like, don't make assumptions. Like, ask questions, even if you feel like the question might be a little bit rude or just a little bit, not really the vibe. Like, ask a question, that's still gonna be 10 times better than assuming. If you feel like a customer getting an attitude with you, don't say you need to watch your attitude. Just ask, like, have
Are
I
you
done
okay?
something with you? Like, have I done something to you? Are you okay? Are you having a good day today? Like, those questions might throw somebody off, because they like, well, what you mean? What you don't control how they respond. Just ask, so you can be like, I'm asking because your demeanor is a little bit off, so I want to make sure it's nothing I personally did to you. And a lot of times they'll be like, you know what, I'm sorry. Nah, I'm having a bad day. And boom, it don't got nothing to do with you. It's maybe you made their day better by, instead of lashing out or giving them some attitude, you ask them, like, are you good? What's wrong? What's going on? What got you so uptight and just unpleasant?
And then you have to always make sure you are protecting your energy, and then you make sure that you have enough boundaries set to where people are not transferring their negative energy onto you. So, yeah.
Definitely don't let nobody set your boundaries. Like, somebody could tell me no, I don't care no more. It's about the fact that I put myself out there. Like, you not having, you telling me no is not saying I'm not worthy of a sale, a customer, a client. It's just saying maybe you can't afford me. Maybe right now is not a good time for you.
Mm-hmm.
It don't matter though. None of that has nothing to do with me. Period.
Yes. I think we did good.
Yeah. So let us know, if you have some cognitive distortions, which ones you experience. Because I'll be honest, I experience all of these at times. But it's just about overcoming them, combating them, learning how to be a positive thinker. But on that note, we're going to see y'all in the next episode. Make sure y'all go follow us at 21 Minutes or Less. Go on YouTube, type in 21 Minutes or Less podcast. And then go follow our personal pages. Mine is at Keisha Milana.
And mine is Miss Butterfly 21 MISS.
See y'all.